But for now, it's a decent start. HDFC Limited really is your stock of the day, 4% higher on that stock. Mahesh Patil is joining us, Co-Chief Investment Officer at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC. Mahesh, good morning. Thanks much for joining us. This market has made a clear distinction. It's the IT and pharma, which are the go-to areas, and banks have been the laggards. You reckon that could continue, or could banks start to play a bit of a catch-up now?
So I think in the near term, we are seeing sectors where there is clear earnings visibility, or at least earnings growth is going to be steady in this quarter. Those sectors are again seeing a lot of interest. Being IT sector also, expectation is that this quarter we should see the commentary should be fairly strong, and the outlook for the IT sector is improved much better than what we had expected. And pharma also is showing a steady kind of a growth. So that's the reason why these sectors are doing well. But I think a couple of sectors which have been laggards, as you mentioned, like the banking and financial services sector, is also, I think, we see a lot of sector rotation happen. And if you look at the bank Nifty, it is, compared to the Nifty, it is underperformed significantly. And I think even in the banking sector, I think there are select banks which we think will do reasonably well in this quarter, both in terms of growth, but more on the asset quality. And some of these banks, looking at where the valuations are at this point in time, can be a good contra trade getting into this quarterly season.
Mahesh, good morning. We know something about what you are going to look at in terms of stocks, because your new fund offer is opening, what you call the Special Opportunities Fund. What does that mean? I mean, I believe that you will look at corporate restructuring and stuff like that, but now the NCLT is not working. You may not get so much of restructuring news, will you?
So actually, this fund, the scope of this fund is slightly more broader. So one is special situations, okay, which happen in the market. So be it corporate restructuring, the M&A activity which we are seeing increasing, or it could be buybacks. I think those are the common M&A situations, okay, which we look at, special situations. But what we see is because of the current crisis and things which are happening in India and globally, there are special opportunities which are emerging for many sectors. And those are sectors which we would look at in this fund. Like, to give an example over here, in the pharma sector also, what we are seeing because of the trade relations between US and China, and the opportunity which is opened up for the pharmaceutical sector, especially in the API space, can be a more long-term opportunity. What we are seeing domestically also, the focus on Make in India and government trying to incentivize manufacturing, rolling out the production-linked incentive plan. That would also mean opportunities for companies which are trying to tap this opportunity and do a lot of import substitution on the consumer durable side. So that's could be an opportunity. Textile sector also, we are seeing a good uptick over there again because of China, and a lot of Indian companies are now taking up market share. So I think the COVID crisis has put up opportunities in various sectors, and we think it's an opportune time for some of these could be more structural, not short term. And to that extent, this fund will look at some of these opportunities and benefit by taking large concentrated position in companies which benefit out of these.
Okay, so you said pharma, textiles, and manufacturing as a part of your Special Opportunities Fund. What about technology? Because I do notice that you have tech disruptions and the digital wave as a part of your theme as well. Despite the run-up that we've seen in technology stocks, would you still feature this as a part of your fund?
So, on the technology side, again, what's happening in India also, the digital revolution, the increase in data usage, the increased penetration of multimedia handsets. So that is, and also post-COVID, we're seeing a lot of adoption of digital across all businesses, not only in India, but also globally. And that is going to be I think, game changing. We have seen some of these companies do well in India and globally also, but we think it's a theme which will pan out because now across business verticals, people are adopting digital and trying to see how they can use digital so that they can improve their productivity and also for acquisition. And globally, we're seeing these trends towards digital increasing. And while the overall IT spend is not reflecting that, but all of these spends are happening not through the traditional technology department, but through the sales and other marketing functions. And I think that would actually elevate the overall growth also for the IT sector, which has been tracking at around single-digit growth in the last couple of years. We think that growth could actually go up to a double-digit growth even for the Indian IT companies, and that could not sustain for 1 or 2 years, but can be for the next 4 to 5 years time frame. So, given that, I think the sector still has a long way to go. And companies which emerge as disruptors in the space can actually take a much larger share and a higher growth.
Okay.
So, so we see good opportunities there. And sector is expensive, but if we're able to take a slightly longer term view, we think there is a reasonable upside in this area.
Okay, by the way, the market slipping from the highest point once again, and especially the Bank Nifty, which opened 400 points higher, again from the same level, like yesterday it slipped, and Nifty as well, Reliance, IT stocks seeing some profit taking after a massive move yesterday. But autos are doing well. Tata Motors, of course, is leading it, but Ashok Leyland joining in, Escorts joining in, Mahindra doing well. Mahesh, this is a space which has made a huge comeback, and across the board. Are you adding any stocks in your portfolio from the auto pack?
The auto sector, clearly has seen a decent run-up again. Last month, to some extent, one has to look through the numbers because the wholesale numbers would also reflect the inventory stocking which is happening ahead of the festive season. So, one has to clearly watch how the secondary sales happen in the festive, which is going to be next month. But we've seen a broader recovery, especially in two-wheelers, where we're seeing even in the four-wheelers, the lower-end four-wheelers, and people looking at personal mobility is seeing a good traction. So we are positive on the two-wheelers and on the four-wheelers space. On the commercial vehicles, things are improving, but it will still take slightly longer time over there to play out. But by and large, I think the overall auto ancillary sector, which is dependent on exports, I think that is seeing a good improvement over there. Overall, even in the US and in Europe, we've seen the auto sector rebound pretty well. And the auto ancillary sector, I think, offers a better opportunity in the sector. And I think even if you assume the sector has been now down for 2 years, even pre-COVID, and even if you assume that in FY22, we reached the volume numbers which we did in FY19, I think there is a reasonably good growth and upside in some of the auto names.
Do these couple of banks which have their shareholders, which have seen a lot of shareholder activism, qualify as special situations for you?
Yeah, so I think, those could also be. There are different kind of special situations, which could come up. There could be M&A activities, which could play out. We see some kind of a consolidation playing out in the banking sector. And more so, I think, in the banking and the financial services sector. But shareholder activism, which could unlock value, not in the banking sector, but in any company, that could also be a special situation. And we've seen when these things play out. In India, we haven't seen much of it, but globally, we've seen many companies where large shareholder has done that. It has unlocked significant value for the shareholders.
Okay. Mahesh, I just wanted to come back to the point you were making about autos. You said that you prefer two-wheelers, but where we are also seeing traction now is a lot of these companies that have an exposure to the global market. Tata Motors, for example, China is doing really well for JLR. Then, the stocks like Motherson Sumi, Bharat Forge are benefiting from an improvement in the North American truck market. Do you like any of these stories?
Yes, as I mentioned, even the export-oriented companies, Indian companies, are likely to benefit, and we've seen a turnaround not only in the China but also in the US and Europe auto space. Even the Class 4 trucks also in US are showing a good order book. So I think clearly the revival there, it's a more of a cyclical recovery what we see. Structurally, I don't think these markets, especially US and Europe, will grow at a higher clip. China can bounce back. So in the auto ancillary space, it's not only the companies which are likely to benefit from cyclical revenue, but companies which can actually grow their pie overall within that space, gain market share, or get into new areas, okay, which can provide a slightly better growth. So few of the companies, as you mentioned, are actually doing that, and that will provide more sustainable long-term growth
One question.
for the auto ancillary sector, which are focused on the export market. Though I think the export incentives have been withdrawn, but I think that's going to be marginal. I think volume recovery will really be the key for these companies to perform. And we see good order build-up in the export-oriented auto ancillaries.
Okay, Mahesh, I wanted to ask you, what did you make of SEBI's Riskometer? I mean, equity guys will be graded according to the market cap rating, we understand, volatility, impact cost, etc. Will you have to do a major rejig in your funds?
So I think I've not actually looked into the details, but I think this has been where SEBI has been trying to grade the fund based on the risk, and I think should not be. I think we have got a basket of funds with various risk profile with volatility, and it's good that investors know, okay, what they're getting into fund, what is the risk profile of the fund, and accordingly they can make allocations to those funds. So I don't think, I think we will, I mean, as far as possible, try to be true to label. Manage the fund as per the fund objective, and whatever is the risk profile of that fund, I think we'll be happy to really share that with investors, and they can make the right decision in terms of what is the risk appetite and which fund actually suits that, and they can come into that scheme. So I don't see much challenge of need to make any changes to our portfolio strategy.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mahesh, for joining us with your thoughts. That's Mahesh Patil of Aditya Birla Sun Life. The markets, meanwhile, are seeing a little bit of profit taking it higher.